I only got 12 minutes here, and I got a lot of stuff to talk about. All right, let me take this down for a sec. So this article here just happened to come across my news on my phone last night. And it said National Bank of Canada FI purchases 18,000 shares of MicroStrategy. And so that immediately caught my attention. I knew that banks had been buying Bitcoin or buying MicroStrategy or buying Bitcoin ETFs. But it hit home for me when I saw the National Bank of Canada purchasing 18,000 shares of MicroStrategy. So I'm going to show you this article. I'm going to tell you some of the big banks who have been buying MicroStrategy this quarter. And then we're going to talk about what that means for Bitcoin, for the market, and for people like us. So let's bring this up. So it says National Bank of Canada FI purchases 18,000 shares of MicroStrategy Incorporated. And it goes on to get out of here. Goes on to talk about National Bank and a few other ones. So let me read these out loud for you here. These are all within the article, but I figured I would just write them down. So National Bank of Canada FI now holds 39,000 shares, up 746% from the last quarter. UBS Asset Management, 639,000 shares in MicroStrategy, up 971% from last quarter. Charles Schwab Investment Management, 664,000 shares, up 587% from last quarter. Swiss National Bank, 468,000 shares, up 904% from last quarter. Sumitomo Mitsui Trust, 343,000 shares, up 1,077% from last quarter. And the international, this one's massive. And the International Assets Investment Management LLC now holds 238,000 shares, up 224,965%. So I'm guessing they had like 50 shares of MicroStrategy before this quarter, and now they have 238,000 shares in MicroStrategy. So what does this mean? I mean, it kind of sucks, honestly. It kind of sucks. I don't love this. I don't love that these big banks, these trusts are buying so much MicroStrategy, because you know what's happening here? The transition is happening. And these banks, I don't know if they're aware that they just can't stop Bitcoin now, so they're going to be forced to embrace it, or if this was the plan all along. But what's happening is all of these huge banks and investment firms and funds, they're all buying Bitcoin behind the scenes, behind the curtain. Meanwhile, the average person is not. And we had 15 years. We had 15 years to front run this thing and to get ahead of the banks and to try to take back some of this wealth. And it's all happening. It's all going back to where it was from. All this capital, I think I saw somebody said $900 trillion in worldwide assets. All of that's flowing back to these big banks now while everybody else is watching fucking NFL football. And it's sad. It sucks. It really sucks. But the reason why they're doing this, the reason why they're buying so much MicroStrategy is because they can't hold Bitcoin. They can't. They can't hold Bitcoin. And so they understand what's happening with MicroStrategy. They understand where this whole thing is going to. And they're going at this thing as fast as they possibly can. Up 746%, up 971%, up 600%, up 904%, up 1,000%, and up 224,000%. Meanwhile, people like us, the average person, is completely asleep. Their financial advisor doesn't even know what MicroStrategy is. Their financial advisor is still telling people that Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme. Only buy as much as you can afford to lose. That's what is being advised to the average person right now. It's sickening, truly sickening. But there's nothing that we can do about it. There's nothing that we can do about it other than understand where we are, understand what's happening here, and do everything that we possibly can to get as much Bitcoin as we can. As much Bitcoin as we can. And, you know, everybody's in a different spot. I understand that financially. But when you understand the reason why these big banks and investment firms are buying so much MicroStrategy, is because that's the only way that they can get exposure to Bitcoin. The only way. So I don't know. It's frustrating. It's exciting. It's a very bittersweet feeling, but there's nothing that we can do about it.